My name is Priscilla and I'm dialing in from sunny Sydney. So if you're a new member to our community, please accept our wholehearted welcome. And if you have any questions about our practices and topics, we're all here to help. And if you're one of our regular friends, welcome back again. It is customary in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we walk, study, and reside, the Wadi people of the Darawal Nation. And I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I also pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are. The check-in sessions have been developed by our Communities of Practice team and the entire community. These sessions aim to develop a reflective practice in response to changes. Guided by humanistic Buddhism, we would like to cultivate our practices and build memorable friendships. Today, we are delighted to have Peter de Graaff guide us on a session on rasa, or aesthetic sensations. Peter is a longtime contributor and friend to the Communities of Practice and Nantian Institute and Temple, an avid student of Buddhism and currently studying Indian religions at Oxford Centre of Hindu Studies. Thank you, Peter.
If everyone would like to just make yourselves comfortable, place your feet on the ground, hands on your lap or knees, beginning from the top of your head, slowly relax your head, your neck, your arms, your legs, feet. Welcome the moment, welcome each other, and enjoy the silence. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, come back, and we can begin. This morning I'm going to talk briefly about rasa. I don't know how, if anything can be, this will only be a taste. So rasa, we could move to the next slide, please, Priscilla. Since ancient times in Indian poetry, drama, literature, and religious writings, the rasas, which literally mean taste, flavour, sap, or quality, have been used to describe aesthetic sensations. This is quite different from the West, where aesthetics is often described in terms of beauty. But with the rasas, these often can be used to describe the heroic, love, the tragic, and they're provided in a list there. And I know that Priscilla sent them out to you, so I won't go into them in a lot of detail, but I know that you're aware of these. Sometimes these rasas are experienced, for example, through poetic metaphors. And I'll come back to that in a moment, or other literary devices. And at the time of hearing, reading, or even seeing as an audience, we might not be aware of their drawing upon our inner feelings and emotions. We're not always aware of the rasas of what they're doing. The rasa of love is often characterized by anxiety, especially the separation of loved ones hoping to find reunification. sometimes is mixed with heroic striving, as in the Ramayana. And how might we view the Buddha leaving home in relation to these rasas after having seen the messengers of old age, sickness, and death? Was this a kind of horror? Or in his struggle with the Mara, where he is heroic and his efforts bring him to awakening? Some regard Shanta rasa as the highest, while others also consider laughter and or true and devotional love as more important. For me, what is peace and compassion without laughter, happiness, and metta, loving kindness? Can we move on to the next slide, please? On this slide, I have some just examples which you might want to read up through while I'm talking. The first one's a poem from Dharma, which was put together in a collection of court poetry that was put together by an Indian monk in about the 11th century. And Dharma asks, making use of this idea of anxiety, of separation, and the rasa of love, how could a creator have made such beauty in a beloved if this could be not truly possessed? And it's an interesting way of seeing love, but also of the rasas. And it's a way of asking about, well, what is the best doctrine here? Is it the Buddhist doctrine, or do we believe in a creator? I think the second one is quite interesting too. The second asks about the sorrow of the world and compassion of Avalokiteshvara upon his leaving this world behind. And from a tear, then Tara is born or is created. And it's an interesting, for me, the flavors here are those of compassion that's brought out of tragic feelings, but also how that gives birth to compassion. The third poem is by Dharma is about describing how he's taken a path where he might feel lost. But then, because he's lost and finding a way, is this really some kind of heroic virtue in finding a way through the Dharma to his own peace? And this is a way for this path of being somewhere where we might not know where we are, and the kind of this overgrownness, this sense, this taste of that, one can almost feel coming out of the poem, but he's striving to overcome that. Can we move on to the next slide, Priscilla? Sorry. And here we have the questions. And I know this is only a short taste of the rasas, but one of the things I find about the rasas is that maybe we need to be somewhat more aware of them and how they influence in our modes of thinking and in our appreciation of the path we're on. So there's two questions. Which of the rasas or aesthetic sensations do you esteem least or more highly, and why? And the second question, how do you believe any of these aesthetic sensations or rasas can be applied to better the world? Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you, Peter, for this very poetic and thought-provoking session. And as you know, community, we're going to be placed in groups of 3 to 4 to share and discuss those questions that Peter's presented to us. So in the discussion, we recommend you spend some time getting to know each other and then discussing the questions. There will be some Zoom notifications to guide you, but feel free to let the flow of discussions guide you as well. So our sessions are guided by metta, which is unconditional love and kindness for all sentient beings. Let's use these breakout sessions to express and receive loving kindness to and from one another. Take time to pause, to share, and to listen. So we'll also ask you to share some of your findings with a larger group at the end of the breakout discussion. But for now, let's go to the breakout rooms for some rich and nourishing meetings. We'll see you all back in 15 minutes. Hi, everyone. Is everyone back? Yep. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed the discussions in your breakout room. So if you have any comments, please type them into the chat box below. And as usual, our poster team will collate these into a beautiful poster and share them with the wider community. So I'd like to thank Peter today for with his thought-provoking session. And we really hope the check-in session was helpful to you all today and that you experienced the unconditional love and compassion of this community. For anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what today could meet, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And you can also reach out to the professional organisations on the screen. So just an announcement that the NTI Conversation series will be continuing on the 24th of July. So that's this Wednesday. Join us for this free event online on joy, compassion, love, and equanimity, facilitated by Associate Professor Peter de Graaff. We'll share the link in the chat box at the end of the session and in this week's midweek email to the community. So next week, Meg Hart will be returning to facilitate the session for us. So it will be a free-form session, which is always fun. And I think she'll be speaking about pilgrimage, but again, we'll send out the questions the day before. As we check out today, let's recite the dedication of merits together to send love and compassion to whoever is in need.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
So thank you, Peter, for your time and generous sharing today. Thank you, Lai Chin, for being our IT master behind the scenes. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. So now we'll have our usual plenary session, so please stay around if you have time. Otherwise, we'll see you all again next Sunday at 11 a.m.